What is up guys, Lawless Knights here bringing you another action-packed episode of Grim Soul. But before we dive into the content, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more hot content. Okay, so now let's get into the detail of the Cultist Cache. First thing you need to know is that you only stand a chance of getting into the Cultist Cache from the night cache. What this means is if you don't get in, you just get the normal night cache loot, which isn't all that bad. Once you drop down into the Cultist Cache, you're gonna notice that it looks really cool, and I have to say well done to the devs on getting this right. It looks really cool, but at the moment there's only two things that you can interact with, and that's the chest and the ladder to exit. But at the moment I think it's a really good start. At the moment there's only two ways to get out of the Cultist Cache, and that's by one, killing all the enemies in the location, getting to the end and using the ladder, or two, hard closing the game and then moving your character off the map to another location. That's also a useful trick if you get pinned in by the enemies and you need to take a break. You just exit the game and come back in and you should be on the map main screen. I've gone through the location now about 3 times and I've counted only 9 enemies in each run. The enemies do shuffle about between skeletons and neophytes, where it's either 4 neophytes and 5 skeletons or 5 skeletons and 4 neophytes, but at the moment it seems pretty standard at 9 units. In terms of armor, you want to be using at least a tier 2 armor set. It doesn't have to be all the pieces, at least the chest piece. In terms of weapons, you should at least be taking in a one-handed sword, but I recommend the spiked mace as it is faster than the one-handed sword and can mean the difference between taking an extra hit from the enemy before you kill them. As I've said before, I've gone through this map now a few times and the map location doesn't really change that much. So how you seeing it play through on my video is how it's gonna play through when you actually do it. If you're struggling with the darkness on this map, all you need to do is turn up the brightness on your smartphone and you should be good. Over here I just tried to burn this vines that's covering the door, but it seems like it's blocked like how it is in the dungeon. At least you don't have to do it. Alright, so on one of my playthroughs I tried to be clever and use no armor and come to this location to see how dangerous the enemies inside the Cultist Cache really are. I have to tell you, it was a real disaster because I nearly died. The nameless neophyte was doing around 15 damage and the skeleton was doing 25. That's base damage because I had no armor. To cut a long story short, if you're a beginner to intermediate player and you come into this location, you need to make sure you're wearing decent armor. In terms of the loot that you get from the Cultist Cache, it's only slightly better, and I say that because there's only 3 notable differences that I've seen, that being the mushroom infusion, the scroll of control level 2, which seems to be a standard in the Cultist Cache now, and a bastard sword. I've done this 3 times and the loot seems pretty standard compared to the night cache. What I'm saying is that if you don't get the Cultist Cache, you can actually probably be happy because you don't have to go through all the effort to actually get it. After exiting the Cultist Cache, the normal night cache itself visually just destroys itself and you can't interact with it anymore. Alright, so in this part of the video, I've just put together a few details for you to see what's the stats of their health and their damage that they do. This might help you plan a bit better, but also come up with some great new tactics. If you know something that I don't or I missed in the video, do drop me a comment below so I can look into it too. For the skeleton, I just want to say don't underestimate this enemy because in a group of enemies he can be really dangerous because he hits really fast, and also the weapon in his hands sometimes changes. So that's something to be aware of, and that could influence how much damage he does. Alright, so to sum up the Cultist Cache addition to the game, I think that this is a really good update for the Grim Soul universe, and that this is gonna really open up a lot of doors. Visually, this map is stunning and it looks beautiful, and we can see that it ties in with the God of Death that we have, in the game. The one drawback that I have is that the loot doesn't match the effort and also doesn't show a real difference between having a chance in the night cache. Well guys, that's just my thoughts on the Cultist Cache update. If you did like the video, do drop us a like, subscribe for more content, and from the Lawless Knights and myself, I'm signing out. I'll catch you guys on the next video.